Hello, Wanjiro Kaburu here, coming to you straight from my sitting room couch. I hope and trust that you and your loved ones are well. In this video, I have a question for you. How do you love yourself? As you ponder on that, I am going to share 15 tips on how I love myself or ways in which I try to express love towards me as a champion, or rather someone who really advocates for self-love so that you're able to give love to others. It always begins and ends with you, trust me. Now, as you think of how you love yourself, I hope you're going to pick something from my 15 tips on self-love. 1. Know and embrace yourself, flaws and all. Sometimes we think to be able to love something or someone, they have to be perfect. And sometimes we set those standards on ourselves. There's nothing wrong with setting standards of perfection on ourselves, but it's just not achievable. Yeah, sorry to break it to you, but it's not achievable. It's not possible to be perfect with no weaknesses, with no flaws, with no scars. I don't really think that's possible. If there's someone who exists and knows they're perfect with no scars, maybe not in this world. So it is important that you get to know who you really are. Take time to discover who you are as a person. I had to do this and I continue to do it to try and get to know who really is Wanjiro Kaburu. What is she made of? What is she capable of? What are her abilities? What are her strengths? What are the opportunities she can seize? And also what are her weaknesses? And trust me, sometimes you get to discover that you have more weaknesses, more scars than you might think. And this can be something that puts you off. And it did that for me. But what I chose to do is to focus on the good things, the opportunities, the strengths that are within me. A week ago, I attended a conference where the keynote speaker was talking about extraordinary leadership, because the theme was rise to extraordinary. This was a Toastmasters conference. And this keynote speaker said extraordinary leadership is not about perfection, it's about progress. And then she went on to say that extraordinary leaders show up with their stars and their scars. And that really got me. So don't worry, don't wait to have all stars for you to show up for yourself or for others. Learn to get to know who you really are and then love that person and embrace yourself with all your imperfections. Number 2, believe in yourself and know that you are enough. There was a conversation going on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and someone was talking about how we all need people to believe in ourselves. That is very important. We need people around us who are close to us to believe in us. But the fact is that until you get to a space where you believe in yourself, there's no amount of belief or people believing in you that will save you or will help you to become the great person you're meant to become. So it is key that you take moments to reaffirm, to reassure yourself and what you're capable of, and learn that that which you can do makes you enough, because you are unique in your own ways. So believe in yourself and know that you are enough. Number 3, stay connected to your source energy. What do I mean by source energy? My source energy is God. I'm a Christian. My source energy is God, and staying connected to Him really helps me through tough times. And moments when I stray, I don't reflect anymore, I don't pray, I don't listen to sermons, I feel something is lacking and missing in my life. I lack the energy that I need to move on. So I realize that it is paramount that you stay connected to your source energy. Find ways that you can stay connected to this energy. I don't know what your source energy is. but I tend to believe that you have a supernatural being. I don't know, you can call it or him or her, whatever you choose, but there needs to be that supernatural presence that leads you on, that gives you peace in the midst of so many things that go wrong sometimes in life. So my source energy helps me helps me a lot. When I stay connected to it, I'm able to stay on track, I'm able to step out and do things that I'm meant to do. Number 4, be kind to yourself. I'm laughing because I'm not so good at this, but I'm getting better by day. And there's a very special person in my life who keeps reminding me, be kind to yourself. Even when I'm working so much towards something, he has to say, remember to be kind to yourself. Even if it's workout and I'm saying, oh, I need my body all toned and all, he has to put that disclaimer, remember to be kind to yourself. But by extension, being kind to yourself is also going out of the way to do nice things to yourself. When is the last time you took yourself out? When is the last time you bought yourself a nice bottle or glass of wine and enjoyed? When is the last time you played nice, soothing music and relaxed? You know, birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Valentine's. Sometimes we wait on people to treat us, to buy us gifts, to do good, to stand by us. But really, being kind and good to yourself also involves spoiling yourself. I try to spoil myself once in a while, buy myself gifts on my birthday and other days that I find important in my life. I step out, go sit somewhere nice and enjoy a nice meal over some nice music and a nice glass of wine. So look for those things that refreshes you and spoil yourself. All right. Number 5, take care of yourself and keep your cup full. Take care of yourself and keep your cup full. You can never pour from an empty cup. It is important that you choose you first before you choose anyone else. Because trust me, if you fail to choose yourself and keep replenishing yourself, you are not that present to be good for or to anyone else. I take care of myself by exercising, reading, writing, meditating, reflecting, staying connected to my source energy, and I keep my cup full somehow by doing the same things. Because when I read, it is feeding me with different perspectives, sometimes knowledge in my field of work, sometimes insights on life generally, and it keeps me rejuvenated, it keeps my cup full. Writing also helps me a lot because it's about putting words out there that speak to someone, and that makes me feel that I'm adding value in someone's life. My work also involves writing, and every time I explore different ways of brand management, communication, or creating content in my line of work that adds value, it makes me feel very fulfilled. So I take moments to make sure I am full, I am well fed, so that when I step out there, I am able to give to the people that expect or could use my help or could use serving from my cup. Number 6, be your cheerleader and your own rescue. One of the people I follow is the American Lisa Nichols, and she says this concept of how many of us wait for to be given permission to be great or for someone to reach out and save us, and we need to realize that we are our own rescue. And then again, sometimes we wait for external, no motivation or people to lead us on from the outside, and we get demotivated to do what we know in our core we are meant to do or we are good at and we can achieve. So I challenge you, and in this way, because it's one of the ways I try to be the person who taps myself on the shoulder. Yes, I appreciate and I really value and I desire people to lead me, to be my cheerleaders and to come to my rescue. But until I reach out to save myself, to tell myself, yes, Wanjiro, do self-evaluation and get to understand areas I can do better and appreciate areas I did well, I don't feel as happy. Number 7, look within and tap from the power therein. It is all in the inside. Sometimes we try to stretch to get things from very far, what we are, what we can do, what is available to us, while we're leaving it all inside us. So if you're really wondering what you can do, what value you can add, the person you can become, take moments of solitude and look within. Reach out to your inner self. That voice, the gut feeling, always knows. As Steve Jobs said, listen to your gut feeling because it somehow already knows what you're meant to become. So take moments to look within yourself. This really helps me. Number 8, own your story. Sometimes we want people to own who we are before we can even own who we are. When I wrote my first book, The Power of Self-Love, and I'm a big advocate of this book, I had that manuscript for a very long time before sending it to the publisher because I kept feeling it's not good enough. Or who am I to really think I can publish a book? And one day, after long moments of prayer, reflection, the gut feeling telling me, Wanjiru, what's wrong with you? You took time to write this book. You have a message here and you really want to put it out there. So what is wrong? Stop this self-doubt. And I sent it out. But the whole process, I was tensed, anxious. And when it was published, some reaction that came from people very close to me now took me back to, why did you even publish that book? And it is until I owned every line in that book that's my story. That's how I was able to tell it. Maybe it's my first book. Maybe in future I might be able to tell stories differently with different perspective. But every line in that book is my story. It's part of who you are, who I am, and what I've gone through in very small, pieces, because getting here, there has been a lot and everyone has a story. So it's until I was able to own that story that I was able to move ahead, that I was able even to unlock a mental block that I had when working on my second book, which is still undergoing writing. So it is very important. Until you own your story, you cannot be able to breathe, to move forward, to tell it with pride. And it is very, very, very important for you to own your story. So I hope you join me in the process of owning our story, every bit that make us, and trust me, they all count. There's a reason what happened, what didn't happen, the people you met, the paths you've crossed did to you. Take time to understand what they meant and own your story. Number 9, let go as much as possible. Letting go. Let me tell you, this has been one of the hardest things I've learned to do. It's absurd how we hold on to things, people, memories, pain, tears that we know are just causing us pain. They are a stumbling block to our progress, to our growth, to our greatness, but yet somehow we hold on to them so tightly. And that was me. I would say I'm still work in progress, because letting go sometimes is not easy, because it can involve letting go of things and people you've known and had in your life all your life. And now it comes to a point where it's the sacrifice you need to do for your progress. I have tried doing this and it has worked magic. The moments where I've tried to say, you know what, these habits, you got to let it go. These people in your life, there's nothing you're giving each other. There's no value adding to each other. They're only hurting you. Why are you staying there? Why are you holding on to that? And the time I master strength to let go of anything or anyone that I feel is not doing me any good, for my own sake and for the sake of people who depend on me or might depend on me in future, there's a lot of peace. I feel so nice. So this is one of the greatest way I actually express love towards me. Number 10, be of service. What is life without service? I mean, Imagine having to live all your life and not doing something towards a bigger goal, something bigger than yourself, something that adds value to someone else. You might ask me how this is self love, but self love is not about selfishness. Self love is about loving yourself enough to want to make things around you, people around you, scenarios, situations better. Because you are in them, you cannot exist outside them. So you love yourself enough to show up, to step up and use your skills, your unique proposition, your strength, your time in service of others. And service could be broad. Could use your work to serve. You could use your relationship, either in marriage, courtship, you know, friendship, to serve. You use church, your position therein, or a member of the church, a member of the community, the place you live. There's so many avenues to serve. And as the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And no one needs a college degree. You just need a heart full of love. Yes, love. I hope we can all be able to love ourselves enough to step out there and be of service and be shocked by the great things that might come our way. And those who have become great in their own ways, if you look closely, it has stemmed out of service. So when I serve, I feel so fulfilled. I don't even care if I get anything out of it. But everything I give into it and seeing the success of it or the value it's adding to individuals or to entities, it just gives me a lot of fulfillment. And I can't think of better way of, saying I love myself than giving me that fulfillment. Number 11, stay grounded and committed. Staying grounded is about snapping out of things that go wrong because of circumstances and situations that we might not even have any power over. So staying grounded is being able to come back and revisit or go back to where you stopped, where you left, and move on without having to say it's too late or I can't do this, and yet you started it with all the conviction. When I start projects and stall, or for some reason I don't complete them, it's usually this heavy burden that I carry within me, and until I go back and revisit and do what I meant to do in the first place, I do not find peace. And it's not a good way to live. Like now I'm struggling with two projects at the point of production of this video. I'm struggling with two projects I started, and then they're just somewhere floating, gathering dust, and I've had to revisit them and try to see what I can do so that this weight just goes away, because it's robbing me of my joy and happiness, and that is not self love. So I hope that we can stay grounded and commit. The last chapter of my book, The Power of Self Love, is commit to self. And I say commit to self because commitment is about you as an individual, whether you're working on a personal thing or a team thing or an institutional thing, organizations you work in or with. Commitment is very personal. So once you set out goals that are at whatever level and you commit to them, you as a person are able to give them your all and to add value in whatever space that you're in. So it is very important that you commit first to self, because when you start working on anything else with anyone else, you remember that commitment to self and the goals that you have set. And commitment becomes something that defines who you are. So commit to you so that you're responsible of yourself and the things that you are needed to do or to show up for in your life. Number 12, in everything, be grateful. I used to be this kind of a person who could find anything to complain about. Complain like all the time when I was growing up. And my mom used to ask me, Shiro, Don't you think you'd spend less energy just focusing on the thing at hand other than complaining? And today I laugh at that because that's wisdom. I have learned over time to focus on even the smallest thing around me to be grateful for. Instead of waking up in the morning and lamenting on, oh, I hate my job. Is that the office I'm going to? Or I had nightmares. Must be a very bad way to, a bad night. Or first of all, take a moment to realize that you are breathing, you are alive. And that's enough to be grateful. At the end of the day, stop focusing on everything that went wrong. When you take moments to count the things that you are blessed with, the blessings around you, you complete your your fingers, and your toes. And maybe you can go back to it again. There are so many. So I've learned to take time to look at things or take note of things I should be grateful for, and I take a moment to breathe it all in, to take it all in. And if there are things that I feel are going wrong in my life, I just tell myself, you know what, Wanjiro Kaburu, tomorrow is another day. Take a step at a time. These things will get better. But my focus, my energy is channeled on being grateful, and that has really helped me. 13, forgive yourself. Cut yourself some slack. Wow, who has had a problem forgiving themselves? I am number one on that list. I used to find a way to take responsibility, to blame myself for everything that goes wrong around me. And anytime I would forgive people very easily, cut them slack and let them go. But forgiving me was very hard. I'm Catholic, and I used to go for confession. And after the confession, I'm just there saying, I don't think even God has forgiven me. I sort of hated myself that much. I think I didn't even feel like I deserved the grace. Have you ever felt so unworthy? And sometimes I think God looks at us and either is so sad or smiles and wonders, my child, come on. I created you. I know you are weak. I know you are capable, or you're a human being who can fall sometimes. Just pick yourself up and continue the journey. And a certain priest told me once, you're committing a worse sin not believing God has forgiven you than what you came to confess in the first place. And I started thinking about it. I had to work so hard. I guess that's why I had to make forgive you a chapter in my book, because I felt that until you love yourself enough to be able to forgive you when you might never be able to make another step forward. Carrying that weight on my shoulder for whatever mistake just kept me stagnated. I could not move, I could not progress, because every time I looked at the mirror, I saw the the ugliness of whatever sin or mistake I might have committed. And I was stuck. I could not progress until I learned to forgive myself. So today I even joke within me that I've even forgiven myself for what I might do. And this is not to encourage us to make mistakes. No. We're human beings. We will make mistakes. But how will you handle the mistake? So forgiving yourself is one of the ways you need to learn to be able to progress. Number 14, have the right motivation. Finally, I got to read the book Start With Why. I've been wanting to read it for some time. And as I was reading some parts, they made me realize why I have been able to do some things, either in my career or personal life. And it is that big thing, that small um, three-letter word, why. What is your why? In everything you said to do, what is your why? Why are you doing it in the first place? What is your motivation? And when I try to evaluate everything across those lines of what is motivating me to produce this video, to write a book, to write articles in my line of work, to show up in a conference or workshop and address a certain topic, to have coffee with a junior or a peer and share my perspectives on certain things, to have a conversation with certain people, either senior peers or juniors. Why do I feel the need to speak out my mind? And when I evaluate across those lines and find that my motivation is something within my purpose, and my heart is at peace with it, and it is adding value to the people, it is an inspiration, it makes me tick, I am able to progress with it. It's sort of an assurance you're in the right track. But sometimes we find ourselves having the wrong motivation, and when we do the things we do with the wrong motivation, they come to bite us back. Because we're human beings, we can try to kill our conscience, and it's not a good thing. But these things come to bite us. So as always, ask yourself, what is your motivation when you're doing something? Number 15, and the last one, is retract, but always bounce back. Why retract? To be honest, sometimes it can be very overwhelming. We're not robots. I think even robots, if not very well programmed, can crash at some point. But we're human beings, and sometimes it can get very overwhelming. And it's okay to feel tired. It's okay not to be okay. It has taken me a long time to accept that it's okay not to be okay. And a bad day is just a bad day, or moments when I feel like doing nothing are just moments that I feel like doing nothing. I am not defined by that in the long term or in the long run. It has taken me energy. Someone told me that is called growth. It has taken me quite some, time to think about it, to grow and learn that I can't always be at my optimum. I can't always have all the energy I'm defined by and enthusiasm. So when I have those moments, I need to close myself in for a day, two, or even a week, and just relax, chill. I have learned to take it easy and accept that it's just a moment when I'm not at my optimum. But the worst thing now you can do is stay in that moment for a very long time. You need to love yourself enough to retract and chill and rebuild and re-energize and just, do nothing as a way of relaxing your body, mind, soul. Or you need to remember to bounce back, because you are needed in this world. You are set out, whether in a business you do, the office you work in, the personal projects you do, and other engagements that you have. You are very important in in every setup. So you need to retract, but also remember to bounce back and go back to giving the very best that you can. All right, there goes my 15 tips. Sorry if I took a lot of time going through each and every one of them, but I hope you pick something out of these tips. And if not, I hope you take a moment to ask yourself, how do you love yourself? Or how can you love yourself? How can you show yourself love and build you and fill your cup and become the best you can to be able to show up for others, to be able to step out there and be the gift you are meant to be in the world? You can also get my book, The Power of Self-Love. For those in Nairobi, it's available in African Book Hub, Absa Building, Loiter Street, and it's also available digitally on Amazon. And those within my circles, you can always hit my inbox for a copy, so that this book can help you reflect along the way. You might find a line or two or a few that can help you really look back and reflect on the topic of self-love and the perspective of self-love that can help you really to be the best you, so that you're able to show up for the world and be the gift you are meant to be to the world. Bye for now. Remember to love yourself.